Alright, so today we're going to do a little bit of a hybrid on the Reset podcast. We're going to do a little something different. I'm playing through Arkham Origins. Reason I'm doing this is because of the DC FANDOME event that went on yesterday. I posted the trailers for Gotham Knights and the Suicide Squad kills the Justice League. So it's just kind of seemed appropriate just to play through this a little bit while we're talking about it. Hopefully it's a little bit forgiving because I haven't played this probably since its release. Arkham Origins was kind of nice to me. Also, this is like the last WB Montreal game that involved Batman or DC or anything like that. So, they've been kind of out of the game with DC stuff for a while. But I mean, this new Batman game, even though it has something, they have like a history with the Arkham, with its origins and all that. I guess the new game has nothing to do with the Arkham story whatsoever. But I mean, that's kind of like a good and a bad thing. They can do whatever they want to do with it, and they don't really have to worry about sticking to the canon. I know that there was some issues with the canon in this game in particular because the grapple boost and things like that was a prototype in the Arkham City, and yet he has it in this, which is supposed to be like his second or third year as Batman. So there was a little bit of a canon problem with some of this stuff, and they can kind of avoid that. I'm not sure. I know Roger Craig Smith, I believe, plays the voice of Batman in this version, and I don't know who the voice of Batman or Bruce Wayne is in Gotham Knights, but it doesn't really matter because they're not interchangeable. It's not part of the story or anything. So, but I can tell you, I mean, it kind of sounds like Tom Jane a little bit, the guy who played the Punisher. That's who the new Bruce Wayne reminds me of, anyway. But yeah, and it's kind of stark opposite with the Justice League or the Suicide Squad game that Rocksteady's making. They're actually saying that is part of the Arkham stories, and I mean, that's kind of cool. I was kind of hoping for like a shared universe kind of thing with the Arkham Knight or not the Arkham Knight, sorry. I'm trying to talk at the same time. I have problems with that shit. With the Gotham Knights and the Suicide Squad, I was kind of hoping that there was a little bit of a new story going on, kind of how Marvel's trying to do with their Avengers game, and it's kind of unclear whether or not Marvel's Spider-Man is a part of a shared universe with this new Avengers game that's coming out. So I don't know. Maybe it's a secret. Maybe they're secretly interchangeable. But I mean, it seems kind of unlikely. A lot of people were thinking that the explosion that they're talking about in the beginning, with where they find Bruce Wayne's body, that it was the same explosion from the Arkham Knight. It's not true. I honestly kind of wish it was. It would have been, I think, a little bit more emotionally impactful, because we know that Bruce Wayne isn't really dead. And Batman obviously could be anybody. It doesn't have to be Bruce Wayne, so I wouldn't be surprised if we end up with a battle for the cowl kind of storyline. Sorry, my kid's yelling upstairs. Seems to be in every damn video because the kid never sleeps. He was not feeling good a couple days ago, and now he's raving, Captain Insano again, so everything's good there. But yeah, I mean, it's strange that WB Montreal, which did this Arkham game that I'm playing right now, uh, they're just saying screw the Arkham verse. We're gonna do our own little standalone thing, and it's their reports earlier were saying that this Gotham Knights was gonna be like a soft reboot anyway, but now they're just saying it's nothing to do with it at all. And I don't know. Like I was saying, I don't think that Bruce Wayne is dead. Batman's definitely not dead. But anybody who knows anything about the Court of Owls, they are basically like a shadow organization that they just, from what I remember of them, and I don't remember very much, but they are like kind of working in the infrastructure of Gotham. They're orchestrating everything from the shadows, where like say Joker and Two-Face, well, more so Two-Face is probably in it for like the money and just to cause villainy, whereas Joker is just wanting to rip apart the established order and expose the cracks and all that, and the foundation of what we call right and wrong. He thinks that justice and peace and all that is like a facade, and he wants to just basically destroy that and show people that the world is full of crazy people and everybody's basically at their core just like the Joker. But where those two are kind of like stark differences, the Shadow or the Court of Owls is kind of like, I guess you could say it's like Gotham's elite, because they don't, oh shit. Oops. Because they don't really give too much of a shit. I mean, like, sometimes it's kind of, they're weird in, like, say for instance, like the Demon's Hand, or Ra's al Ghul, like his League of Shadows or whatever, they want to root out corruption and destroy cities from within, and they're hell-bent on destroying Gotham because it's like this symbol of corruption. And it's kind of like the opposite, I guess, with the Court of Owls. I mean, they're more like they're evil, but it's like they could be like the Division. They could be your friends, your neighbors, your buddies, and really in reality they're just orchestrating big shit from within. And I can't tell you what their overall goal is. I mean, just to make the world as they see fit, maybe. I'm not really that like familiar with them, I guess is what I'm trying to get at. I just know that they were a very formidable enemy to Batman. And that's what I was saying before in some of these videos I was talking about. They were a big enough opponent or enemy so that damn, I keep fucking this battering up, that you can have Batman take on them with the Bat family and not really have it be like a forced thing. I mean, they're so many of them that you could just have Batman taking care of them on one side of the map and then switch over to Robin or Batgirl on the other side of the map. That's not really like that hard of a thing to do, but they just wanted to remove Batman completely from it, and I get that. I mean, I'm not saying that it's a horrible thing that he's not in it. It's just not really all that great to me, because I was waiting so long for a new Batman game, and they just completely take him out of this one. And I mean, it gives the Bat family a little bit more of a room to shine without him, because they are heroes in their own right and all. But I was hopeful that they would be, teaming up with him like they normally do, as opposed to being, their own full-fledged game. And I mean, they had teases and things like that on Batman Day. They showed symbols and all like that. So I mean, it was kind of implied that it was a Batman game, and it still technically is. I mean, earlier I said that I don't believe Batman or Bruce Wayne is dead. He'll probably show up toward the last quarter of the game or so, and we'll be playing as him or whatever. But yeah, on the stark opposite of that, you got the Suicide Squad, where you're playing as the bad guys, and that's cool too. That's something a little interesting, and I was like, it's really weird. Speaking of stark opposites, I was like really excited for this new Batman game, and then when they said that Batman wasn't really like a playable character in it, I was like, okay. And then now I have the Suicide Squad, which I was kind of like, meh, not really that interested. And I saw the CGI trailer. I was like, well, now I kind of am. So it's crazy how it flip flop on me like that. Anyway, but I think it's kind of cool that they're giving you the ability to have 4-player co-op, playing as the Suicide Squad, and then you got the 2-player co-op as the in the in the Gotham Knights. Excuse me. In the Arkham Knights, you can play as the 4 characters. They're fully customizable, and you can play with a friend. And that's something I always wanted to do in these Arkham games, especially with my brother, because he likes playing through them. Dave, he was on the second Reset podcast. He was the miserable dude that bashed the system that he was collecting for the first 20 minutes of it. But that's just Dave. Dave was kind of a moody person until he gets into the conversation. But once you get him going, he'll talk for a very long time, because he's passionate about gaming. He's just like me and you, and he's just kind of miserable sometimes. But he does enjoy these games, and I think it would have been cool to have like a Justice League or even just a Batman game. I would prefer a Justice League game, because like he is a Superman fan just as much as I'm a Batman fan. But he also likes more Marvel characters. Like he likes the Incredible Hulk and Wolverine, and I do too. But I'm a more of a DC guy myself. So Batman is first and foremost. He's my number one, and that kind of started for me back in early childhood. I think I was probably about 4 years old. When the first Batman movie I saw, I went to my grandmother's house, and her and my grandfather had split up before I was even born, and she remarried while I was like a little tiny baby. But I was about 4 years old. My mom took me over to my grandmother's house, and she and my mom were talking, and Rich, who was her husband, was like, "Hey, you ever heard of Batman?" And I was like, what's that? And he put on the 1989 Batman movie. And I sat there in one spot and watched the entire movie. Probably not appropriate for a 4-year-old, but this wasn't back in the the sensitive times. This was the 80s or the 90s, excuse me. So we didn't get catered to as much as kids today. But I sat there for the whole time, and my mom even jokes. She's like, "I think that was the first time as a 4-year-old that you sat still for more than 5 minutes." So so I ended up loving that, and then Rich saw that, and he was like, at the time I was 4 years old, and he's like, there's another Batman movie. Batman Returns is coming out in June. You want to go see it? And I ended up going to see that with my mom, Rich, and my grandma. And I just fell in love with this, character from that point on. My brother, who actually already had like an NES and Super NES and things like that, he saw that and he let me play the original, or it's original to me. It's not the original, but I guess original to me. The Batman game from Sunsoft, Batman the video game. That's the one with the memory that sticks out the most to me. Of that is that the Joker at the end is like super huge and you straight up murder him. It's no secret. I've said it before in previous videos that I never beat that game until about 4 months before I started this channel. It was one of those games I respect it. You know what I mean? Like I could have put in some Game Genie codes and got through it, or I could have went on YouTube and spoiled the ending for myself, but I already basically knew what the ending was. I mean, I know he beats the Joker and all, but I wanted to have that achievement of beating it myself, and that was those of you that know what game it is, those of you that don't know, it was kind of like the best game I can compare it to is Ninja Gaiden on the NES, where you can kind of like jump off walls and things like that, and you stick to them, and it's a really fun game. It has gadgets, and, like most Batman games do, obviously, but yeah, I mean, it was to me a awesome game to play. But I would always get to the Joker, and he was like hulkingly huge for some reason, and I would just get my ass kicked, and he had like a crazy amount of health, but I just would get frustrated. I'd lose all my lives and be like, you know what, screw this. I don't play anymore, and I'd move on to something else. So I never actually got through to the end of it. Then the next game I played for the NES as well was Batman Returns, and now that was certainly different. Going back a little bit here, sorry, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. Those of you who don't know, the ending of the NES version of the original, the Batman the video game, he just straight up murders the Joker, and I never even knew that until like I said, about 4 months before I started this channel. Then I saw it myself, and he just grabs him and throws him right the fuck off the building. That's also, for those of you that don't know, that is the version of Batman where he's like purple. So that's maybe another indicator of what I'm talking about. Then now we can go on to talk about Batman Returns. That one is more like Double Dragon, and it's weird because it's like the Super Nintendo version is almost just like it, and that's really what I consider to be one of probably the best of the 16-bit era Batman games was the Batman Returns on the Super Nintendo. But the NES version was similar to it, but with NES graphics, obviously. But it was a straightforward beat 'em up where you walk down the street. But yeah, the Super Nintendo was definitely a superior version, and not just because it was on the Super Nintendo. It was actually like it was just really. If anybody who's played it, it was kind of like the Ninja Turtles game for Super Nintendo, the arcade game, where you can grab a dude and you throw him against a wall. You can grab two of them and like bang their heads together. It was fucking awesome to play. And of course, Batman had like some really horrible games as well. And I'm not trying to hate on the Genesis at all, but they just, I mean, it was still fun, but it just wasn't great. And this is back in a time where for some reason licensed games were like better than they are now. Yeah, for some weird ass reason, like even like Return of the Joker and shit like that just was not that great on the console. And maybe it was like the Electric Shadow or Electric electrified statues and shit that pissed me off. And Batman was like shooting a gun. It didn't really feel that great, you know. And they tried to remake that on the Genesis with, it was like Revenge of the Joker or Return of the Joker or something like that. It was a remake of one or the other, and it was okay. It just wasn't a great game. But definitely, I would say that the fucking Batman Returns is probably the best of the 16-bit games. And then you move on to the PlayStation. Or no, wait. Go back to the Super Nintendo. There was Batman the Animated Series. That was actually a pretty damn good Batman game. They actually had like the cape fluttering and shit when they ran. I mean, it was based off the animated series, which got me into a whole new love of Batman. Because the movies were kind of like dark and gritty, but we'll get to that point here in a little bit. But I'm just kind of rambling here because I'm concentrating on the game and trying to talk at the same time. So I apologize if I'm appearing to be incoherent. But yeah, so if we moved on to the PS1, but I just wanted to touch on that animated series one. It did come out on the Genesis too, but I feel it was better on the Super Nintendo. Again, I'm not trying to throw shade at the Genesis by any means. It was a fun fun game console, but it's just, to me, I like the Super Nintendo. I'm kind of like the stark opposite of my brother and cousin. They seem to have loved the Genesis. I did too. I like the Super Nintendo a little better. They were like super censored and shit like that, but it didn't really apply to the Batman games. They were just beat 'em ups. There was no real blood or gore or anything like that. And that was kind of like probably the aim of the console. They were a little older than me, and the Genesis was, you know, kind of aimed more at older teens, whereas this Super Nintendo was aimed at kids my age. But anyway, going on to the N64 and the PS1. They had Gotham City Racers on the PS1, which I owned. Again, this isn't like a complete list of all the games or anything. It was just, you know, the ones that I've played. And Gotham City Racers was one of those games that I rented from Blockbuster, and I was just happy as hell that I didn't buy it, because it was just not good. It was not good at all. The game just controlled like shit. I mean, I know Batman's is supposed to, you know, have like a Batmobile, something similar to like a tank, but I mean, it was just stiff. Like you go to take a corner and you just, you know, it just straight up didn't function the way you think a Batman car or vehicle, whatever you want to call it, would. And that goes for even for the villains' vehicles. Like I tried playing as Joker, and you know, there were some cool, fun game modes like hide and seek, and you know, you raced against you know, the second player, and I don't think there was anything against the AI for the multiplayer. Usually you have bots and shit, but you know, there was nothing really outside of the main story that was interesting, and even the main story wasn't that interesting. It was kind of like original concept or story for that Gotham City Racers. Like they made like a animated little short for the cutscenes, and it looked just like the TV show because it was. I don't think the game may have been written by Paul Dini. I think that's his name, that made the animated series, but I'm unsure, so don't quote me on that one. But it played just like an episode of the show, and you raced from one side of the city to the other to get a checkpoint, and then another FMV would play. And on the PlayStation, it didn't age well, but I mean, if you look back at it now, it obviously hasn't aged well. But back then, it was just, you know, you're playing it on an old, you know, TV, so it didn't, you didn't see all the pixels and shit like that. It was obviously a lower quality than the shows you would see on cable and shit. But you know, it was just the game just seemed unfinished, seemed broken. Then on the N64, another game that I rented, still to this day I've never completed, was Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker, which was based on an animated movie of the Batman Beyond story. I'm not entirely sure. I believe it was, but I mean that was just like another standard kind of beat 'em up, and it was, you know, the N64. It's some games are really beautiful, and other games are just kind of blocky and kind of like just, you know, it looked weird. You know, it's not the TV show. You know, I'll put it to you like that. It was maybe rushed, or maybe it was just that was the limitations of the N64. I don't know, but it looked really blocky. And I mean, excuse me 1 second. And I mean the you know, the animation on the animation on the TV show always had a kind of a weird body figure too as well. I mean, like the action figures were strange. You know, like with the tiny ass little legs and the extra big body, and it's just you know, it's a strange body the way they have them drawn, but it was still an awesome show. Even the Batman
office is connected to the theater. I need to hack the security system and get the theater doors open.
Okay. Even the Batman, the animated series, the original animated series, like the seasons like 1 through 3, I think were the best ones. Yeah, shut the hell up. Now, what I was saying was the original animated series was pretty awesome. Like the first couple seasons, and then it changed to like be more with like Robin or Nightwing and Batgirl, and the animation style changed a little bit. It wasn't damn, she's still bitching. Shut the fuck up. Damn. The animation style changed a little bit with the new animated series, and they still had the same basic weird kind of body where it's like skinny ass legs, big upper body. And where the fuck am I supposed to go? I don't know. I haven't really been paying attention to what I'm playing here. I go this way. Right. Oh yeah, I guess.
Hello, son. You know you ain't welcome here, and you know what we do to trespassers. Well, you're about to find out, ain't ya?
But yeah, if you notice that Batman, we can take a little break from the animated series here. Batman here in this gameplay, his armor's a little different, and you'll notice the Joker might be a little different too if we get a chance to get to him. I changed him to the Joaquin Phoenix version, so that'll be something kind of cool to see if we get there. But yeah, the Batman Beyond, which was also created by Paul Dini, I believe, had kind of a really kind of cool concept, and I thankfully kind of jumped from the original animated series and jumped right to Batman Beyond. I caught like a little bit of the Batman Superman adventures and a little bit of the new Batman animated series, and I just wasn't really all that impressed with it. The Batman Superman one was pretty cool, and I was almost starting to get into the Superman animated series, but it just didn't hold the same kind of weight to me that Batman did, obviously, because I'm a Batman fan more than anything. Damn. Let me the fuck up. safe spot here. But yeah, I mean, the 90s were awesome with the cartoons. You know, you had, you know, TMNT, you had the Batman, Superman, you had the X-Men, you had all the really awesome characters and all were represented in cartoons. Even Beetlejuice, which definitely was not made for kids, at least in my opinion, ended up getting a cartoon. RoboCop had a cartoon. If you've ever seen that movie, it's bloody as shit. So it's definitely not aimed at kids. I'm surprised there wasn't a fucking Terminator cartoon. For all I know, there actually could have been. I'm just, if I did miss it, I actually feel sorry about that, because I would actually like to play it or watch it. Terminator cartoon. I think that'd be kind of cool. But I know they made like a Rambo one, which again, that's, you know, not really a kid's thing, but it's weird because, you know, there was the Adam West Batman, which I never really learned to appreciate until I got older. I kind of looked at it like this is the goofy version of Batman, and I just wasn't interested in it because my first introduction to the character was, you know, Tim Burton's version, and Tim Burton does some amazing work with not just Batman, but his movies in general, just, you know, kind of dark and mysterious and things like that, and he really knows how to build an environment and all that, and it's just, what the fuck is this guy doing? This is, okay, must be a game glitch or something.
What do you want? I didn't do nothing.
Who's your boss? What does Penguin want with him?
Alberto Falcone, but I got no idea what Penguin wants with him, I swear. I don't know what your game is, but old man Falcone will be in your debt if you take Cobblepot down. He's right through that door back there.
No thanks. I don't need the Falcones in my debt.
Let's see. Is this door back here?
Now, where were we? Candy.
You suggested little Alberto over here. Hey, baby.
Sorry,
Tried to
walking
convince
cutscene
his
right
father
here.
to take
Give my
early
voice a
retirement.
chance to rest a
He
little bit.
disagreed and called you a, let's see, psychotic little bastard.
No, please!
I think this is like the probably better version of Penguin. Danny DeVito did an awesome job playing the Penguin. Very ominous and all that, and they obviously take
Now you best listen,
a little bit of a
Falcone.
mixture between him and
Because this
Burgess
is the
Meredith
last time
version from
ask.
the Adam West series, but there's definitely a lot of Danny DeVito in this one.
Are you gonna tell your
But they
father?
made him more
Then
human
we're
looking.
getting out of the weapons business.
Danny DeVito kind of was pale and, you
I'll
know,
make him do
very
it.
Tim Burton-esque.
I see your lips flapping, Bernie, but they ain't making the sound I want to hear. You idiots better keep, please.
But let's see, the next game, I can't not mention this game, and that is also the movie series, which after Tim Burton left took a shit. I'm sorry if you like the Joel Schumacher versions of Batman, but you're wrong. He did a horrible job. I mean, it made it definitely more kid-friendly, I guess. But there was like some real homoerotic shit. Like, you put fucking nipples in the bat suit, and you did just a lot of weird fucking things with that. And I can say that Tim Burton, as much as he did to reinvigorate the character and bring it to a new generation, Joel Schumacher fucked it up just as much. And I was a kid, I loved Batman, so I gave it a shake. Batman Forever was actually probably the better one of the two that I could think of right up the top of my head. It was funny because Val Kilmer in the Batsuit, and even my brother, he actually is the one that mentions to me, and I was like, holy shit, he's right. But Val Kilmer in the Batsuit is almost a dead ringer for Michael Keaton in the Batsuit. They look very similar, and that was probably like the saving grace to me. And they used some kind of different I mean, it was different, obviously, because I mean they're not the same body type and all, but it was really reminiscent of the Tim Burton Batsuit was Val Kilmer's was, and then they changed it later on in the movie, or maybe I'm just thinking of concept art or something. But I could have sworn it had the the yellow emblem with the black symbol. What I'm thinking of, maybe I'm misremembering. I could be. But I could have sworn that he had something similar to the '89 Batman suit, and just lead this.
Your restraint weakens. Try something else. Ready for more?
Yeah, he like adjusts to you.
You cannot match me. Not such a pushover after all. No more. Huh. Try again.
Fuck, I haven't played this in a while. As you can tell.
A flawed technique. I know you saw no. What now? And yet another.
Hold on a second, I'm getting my ass handed to me by Deathstroke.
Surprising.
I fucking love this shit though. Eats the little shell.
No more.
Get back here, you bitch.
Your rage. Is it self-righteousness? A few drinks left, guys. What now?
I don't have the indicators on, so you know I'm missing some of the shit that he's throwing at me.
You honestly think
This is gonna be a long ass boss fight. I can already see just by the very little taking very little damage I'm taking from him. Break that shit. Oh fuck. Clothesline.
not such a pushover after all.
how to counter that. I'm sorry, I'm not talking very much. This part is to enjoy with the Deathstroke Fight, which is arguably probably one of the better boss fights in this game. That is an awesome boss fight.
What are you?
Sorry, I bumped the mic right there.
Feel free to let yourself back.
Yeah, they get a lot of shit for this game, dude. But I think WB Montreal did pretty fucking good. Did I get a new weapon? Remote claw. Yeah, like I said, I haven't played this in a long ass time, so.
I can use Deathstroke's device to get up to the balcony.
So, some of the stuff I might be a little bit like, huh? But yeah, where were we on the games here? Oh, we were on the movies. That's right. Yeah, Batman Forever was probably the better of the two Schumacher shit show game movies. I mean, but. Yeah, let's see. But Batman and Robin. Oh my God, that was fucking horrible. That was a absolutely horrible movie. I mean, Arnold Schwarzenegger couldn't even save that fucking movie, and he was like a megastar at the time. And that movie was so bad it actually tarnished Arnold's reputation. And it has like kind of one of those. You know, it's so bad, it's good or whatever qualities to it, but I mean, it's also just really fucking bad. And the game that was made for PlayStation, that was fucking awful too. And I don't know what the hell it was with Batman in making these games. I mean, there was like a real big lull between good games and you know, between the good games there was like a one for every good game that has Batman in it. There's like 6 or 7 shitty ones, and I mean it's kind of unfortunate, but thankfully, you know, Rocksteady came along and changed that. But I mean, even before that, they made they had, let's see, what the fuck was that? Batman Begins, I think, was made by EA, and that was pretty decent, you know, all things considered. It could have been better, but I don't know what it is with licensed games, but it just, yeah, they kind of suck a lot of the time. I mentioned that before, I believe, but yeah, I mean, all things considered, I think even, I can't really say this for sure, but I think Christian Bale actually voiced Bruce Wayne in that. And I mean, there was a sequel on the mobile platform with an open world Gotham for The Dark Knight Rises. You can have like the Bat bike and, you know, the Batmobile, and and shit like that. So I mean, it was. I think I'm going back to where I came in. Yeah, I am. Son of a bitch. But yeah, I mean, it was an open world, and I mean, it was buggy as hell because it was on the mobile platform, on ISO and all like that. And unfortunately, fortunately, it was a lot like this, where you can go from cover to cover and on top of statues and things like that. But it was really buggy, and like I was about to say, unfortunately, I deleted it. And since it was a licensed game, it's no longer on their servers, even though I paid fucking money for it. Apple, who's being a real dickhead right now, they keep removing content from their store, even if you fucking paid for it. So Fortnite and things like that, they're going through tiff with Ubisoft. I mentioned that in my last podcast, but it's like, yeah, Apple's kind of starting to get a little goofy. So, you know, if you have anything on there, on anything you bought, a video game, an app, and you like it, don't fucking delete it, because the odds are they're kind of like the Fox of online stores. So they ended up, you know, just deleting or canceling or whatever. They get rid of the shit, even if you fucking paid for it. If I paid for this fucking Batman game and I played it and I didn't get a chance to beat it, but I paid for it, so I should be able to fucking have access to it. But I even tried calling someone about it. It was only like $5, but it was still a fun fucking game that I'd like to have on my phone. And they're like, well, sorry, it's no longer available. I'm like, well, what the fuck do you mean it's no longer available? I paid for it. This actual cash, I paid you, so do I get a fucking refund? They're like, well, sorry, we can't offer refunds, but we might be able to give you like a discount on the store. I'm like, a discount? No, I want what I paid for. I paid you for content, and now you're telling me I can't get that content anymore. Yeah, it's been a couple years, more than a couple probably, but I mean, you know, it's just it's so fucked up that they just get rid of shit like that, even though you paid for it. And I don't understand it. It's not like it's going to take up that much fucking space for you to keep that on your server, you know what I'm saying? So just fucking keep the shit, let me get what I paid for, or, you know, reimburse me some store credit or something. You know, yeah, we can give you a discount. That doesn't give me my $5 back. And I only got a chance to play the game a few times because, you know, I'm an adult. I have shit to do. And yeah, it's on my phone, but, you know, I am kind of part of that rare part of the society that doesn't have my fucking hand glued to my phone. So, yeah, so it's just, I don't know. I got into the digital distribution shit in one of the podcasts before. I think it's fucking stupid. It's like, you should give me all or nothing. You know, it shouldn't be, oh, this is a timed thing, and we're going to rotate this in and out. And I get it if some things ain't that popular, but it's really annoying to have one of the movies and maybe even two of the movies in like a trilogy or quadrilogy, and you don't have the other two, or you don't have the last one. It's just, it's really frustrating, and I could sit there and talk at length about that shit. And thankfully, you know, video game stores like marketplaces are a little bit more lenient or forgiving, or I don't know how to put it. They still rotate shit in and out too, but at least they like kind of give you like a warning. You know, if you have it in your library, it's there, you know, forever until you delete it or whatever. But yeah, I mean, like they'll give you like a warning on the store page. It'll be like, hey, well, this disappears on you know, October 20th, like with PS Now. I know that Watch Dogs 2, it says that like literally right on the store page when you boot up the PlayStation Now. It says, you know, this is available until October 20th, 2020. And I don't know if that's because the new Watch Dogs is coming out or what. So, but you know, sometimes with these licenses they end, and you know, they gotta they gotta replace that with something else. But this is a Batman thing, so we'll get off the streaming platform shit, because like I said, that shit annoys the fuck out of me, and I could talk about it for hours, but I'm not gonna subject you people to that rigorous fucking bullshit. But yeah, I think that was like the only PS2 GameCube game of Batman was the Batman Begins. Maybe I'm wrong. No, wait. Yep, I am wrong. Batman Dark Tomorrow was a fucking game that came out, I believe, on the Xbox and the GameCube. I want to say it came out on the PS2. I'm not entirely sure. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, that was a really bad game. It was fun. It was fun to play, and they actually had the balls to have one of the endings be Batman dying. And it's not like a haha, game over kind of death. It's like he straight up dies, and that's one of the endings. So you might be asking, well, what makes that a bad game? And it came out during the time of when Resident Evil was in its popularity, and it had that tank control camera. So it was more aimed at Batman's like detective side, I want to say. You know, like there was combat, but there was a lot more like gadget use and things like that. So it was more of a game that you're not really used to now. Like it wasn't really a big action set piece game. It was more puzzles and detective work, which has its place too. You know, but yeah, that was probably one of the weirder or worst Batman games I've played, and of course I still fucking own it. Don't ask me why, because I'm a fucking glutton for punishment, I guess. I haven't played it in years. It's sitting in a GameCube box over there on the shelf, and I'm not even. I haven't checked on it. You know what I mean? It could be a victim of disc rot at this point. I don't know. It's been a very long time since I played it. It might even be on the GameCube. I think I might have it on Xbox. I don't know. I have it on one of the consoles I have, and it's been a long time since I even opened the case for it. I actually even have Batman Begins on the GameCube, and I might pop that in here one of these times for this Let's Play series thing that I do. There was, you know, the same kind of thing with Superman. Superman kind of had a few fucky games. I mean, he's not really. He's kind of an overpowered character, so you gotta have like a weird reason as to why he could be taken out by conventional weapons. And I fucking hate it, but Nintendo 64 had the better reason as far as that goes. I mean, he gets sucked into like a virtual reality kind of thing, and it's kind of like the Matrix, so he has like somewhat limited powers, and you know, the guns are all filled with like kryptonite bullets or some bullshit, so he's a little bit more vulnerable than he normally would be. So that's something that was kind of cool. But the N64 game, you guys know how I feel about that shit, and likely if you've ever fucking played it, you feel the same way too. It just is horrible, and it's mostly the reason why it's horrible is because of the rings. The fucking rings fuck up that entire game, and I have found a way to actually fix Superman 64, and I ended up unlisting that video because in the beginning of it there was a contest giveaway I was doing, and with the nature of YouTube, and some people are idiots and don't understand that, you know, these videos are filmed in the past, and you know, days, months, weeks, years pass, so they'll probably end up still commenting, trying to get in on a contest that ended back in like I want to say like May or something like that. It ended. So, you know, I just ended up unlisting the video, and I felt that was for the best. So I'm gonna probably end up reshooting that and playing through Superman 64 again, but like with the improved version that I can come up with, and it doesn't make the game Superman 64. It doesn't make it a great game, but it makes it more playable. You know what I'm saying? Like it's easier, or not easier, but funner, less punishing to play. And that how I do that is there's an emulator called 1964, and in the cheats category. So again, I don't condone piracy, but this fucking game, I don't care. You could rip the shit out of this game. The fucking company Titus blows. They fucking rushed through development. Hopefully all of them got ass cancer and fucking died a horrible death because they all fucking suck. Not really. I really hope that nobody got hurt or anything like that. I'm just being a cheeky asshole. But yeah, the game fucking sucks, and you can get it for less than $10. I'd strongly suggest saving your money. You can get digital games, like go on S2C and you can get fucking an EverDrive that has every game, N64 game on it, and you can just rip it off of that. You know, I don't believe you should be wasting your money on Superman 64. But that being said, the 1964 emulator has a built-in cheating system, and the version I have, it auto-populates cheats, and you can select an option to get rid of the rings. And how it works is that you fly through the first ring, all the other rings are gone, they're disappeared, they're culled out, so to speak, from the game, so you don't have to worry about them. All you gotta do is fly to the very last ring. So you fly from one ring to the other. It's like flying to a waypoint, and it drastically improves the game to the point where I actually had the urge to continue on playing when I first made that video, and that's something I can say that I've never really had with that game. But yeah, I'm gonna do a video on that eventually, if you know, if I can muster up the fucking enthusiasm to do it. It's not really a game I can easily motivate myself into playing, just from the shitty memories, and that's because I got that game for my birthday. I really wanted that game, something fierce, and yeah, it ruined my birthday night. It was that bad. It was a game I should have just fucking rented before I asked for it, but like I said, I was into the Batman, and Batman didn't have any games at that time on the N64. Batman Beyond came out later, so I decided, what the hell, I'll check out Superman, and I regretted it. But yeah, so from Dark Tomorrow and Batman Begins, we moved on to, you know, the next game I believe I heard about was the Arkham Asylum, and I was like, wow, this game looks incredible. And I was kind of skeptical because, you know, Batman fans, gamers, we've been burned with Batman games. So I kind of just took it with a grain of salt, and then I saw the reviews for it, and I was like, holy shit, this game actually looks like a good game. And I was there release day. I got it, and just a floating walkie-talkie there. Awesome, cool. So I got it on release day, and you know, I took it home, I played it, I was like, holy shit, this is great. I couldn't put it down. Even after I beat it, I went through beating up all the maniacs and shit running around. I got the Riddler trophies, and you know, I couldn't put it down. And thankfully, they really, I guess, anticipated that people were going to love it, because they got to work on Arkham City. I want to say it was like a year or two later, Arkham City came out, and it was just you know, another awesome game. I was there at midnight release for that game. I got home probably about 1 o'clock. About 1 in the morning. And by about 7 a.m., 6:30, the credits were rolling. So I beat that game the very first day I got it. And yeah, like my brother was like, you're going out to get, because he used to stay up late even when he worked. He doesn't work at the same job anymore, but he seen me leaving the house. He's like, you going to get Batman? I was like, yep. And then he wakes up like 6:30, comes downstairs to grab a shirt from laundry, and he sees me sitting there watching the credits roll. He's like, damn, you beat the game already. so I stayed up all night and beat Arkham City, and I think it was probably about 6 hours, 7 hours, something like that. It wasn't very long at all. Arkham Knight, I want to say I think it was a little bit longer. I can't really say for sure. I want to say it was probably maybe 10 hours, something like that. I don't really remember because I went through and I collected all the Riddler trophies because he was annoying as shit, popping up on the screen every 5 minutes, and I wanted to punch his face in as fast as possible. So I went through and did all the shit, and yeah, that was that. I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to go. I'm just going around in circles right now. Is this it? Are you in here? Yeah. Okay. But yeah, I don't know. And Arkham Knight was kind of bittersweet because I mean, like, you know, he ended up killing himself, or appearing to kill himself at the end. That Nightfall Protocol shit. So that, you know, because his identity got revealed or whatever. So I knew it was kind of like the end of an era with Rocksteady. I know that they didn't want to continue on making straight up Batman games anymore. So they just...
Police believe Penguin murdered Black Mask. But why would he send me here if he was the killer? It doesn't add up.
Oh, shoot. But, yeah, so... What was I saying? Fuck, I'm like confused as shit. Still taking cold medicine, so, you know.
The male victim is wearing a black mask, but I can't positively identify.
It's weird because we're saying, like, in that preview for Gotham Knights, that the 8-minute preview, the one I posted, I think it was probably 2 videos ago or so. They said it was like 12 hours into Batgirl's progression and halfway through Mr. Freeze's story arc or whatever.
I can identify.
So, I mean, this Arkham Knight, or I keep saying Arkham Knights, Gotham Knights, is probably going to end up being longer than all 4, I guess, technically. Well, no, wait, 3. Arkham City, Arkham Asylum, Arkham Knight, and Arkham Origins. Yeah, so 4 games. It might end up being actually longer than all 4 of the Arkham games together. I mean, which would be kind of cool because I mean, you ask for the Bat Family, you get the Bat Family, and you get a fuckload of them. But yeah, I just wish that Batman was in it. That's the only really disappointing part, and I think he's gonna be. I think you'll probably end up getting to play as him at some point in the story. And, you know, that's all well and good. I mean, I think it's cool to give people a reason to love the Bat Family a little bit more, because they are kind of like, you know, dependent a lot on Batman. I guess so are we, you know. But I like Nightwing, you know. I like the Red Hood. I like Robin. I like Batgirl. So I think it'll be fairly entertaining to play. And I may not be on it day 1, but I'm probably gonna end up getting the Suicide Squad too, because I really want to continue on the Arkham story. Even though that this Gotham Knights isn't part of that Arkham universe, it's still going to give you a little bit of a taste and something to pass the time, because the Suicide Squad kills the Justice League. That's not coming out till 2022. And I keep saying it again. Gotham Knights. Gotham Knights. That's coming out in 2021. I'm guessing by the how far along the game looks. I mean, I think it's pre-alpha right now, so I mean, it doesn't look the greatest. It doesn't look as good as like Arkham Knight, but again, it's not supposed to be part of the Arkhamverse, so it has a different art style. But I mean, it still looks pretty decent. It looks like it's pretty far along in development, especially if they're talking about 12 hours into a character's development and halfway through this character's story arc at 12 hours. So you know the game is probably about, I would say, probably at least 70 to 80% done. That's just, you know, my guess, I would assume. They're probably more focusing right now, I would say, on the multiplayer aspect of it. They're probably, you know, working out the bugs and things like that. But I'm expecting that game. Educated guess, I'd have to say October. That's going to be coming out before October 2021. Oh fuck! Okay, I gotta rewind even. But yeah, I mean, I'm somewhat looking forward to it. I mean, my fiance, I told her that's something that she and I could play together, and she immediately jumped on my second favorite character, which is Barbara Gordon. She's like, "I'll be Batgirl." I'm like, "Well, fuck. I guess I guess I'm Red Hood then." And I don't know how the story is going to populate out. Like, I don't know if I'll be able to play as Red Hood and Batgirl, or if Batgirl and Robin are going to be stuck together, and you know, Red Hood and Nightwing are going to be stuck together. I don't know if they're going to interchange or flip-flop. I don't know if you get pick and choose. I just don't know. But I'm assuming that there's a reason why you are only allowed to control two of them at a time. Like, you know, with you know, you can only have two-player co-op. So I'm pretty sure, yeah, you're going to end up having some kind of story arc there where you're only going to be able to play as one team and then, you know, the other team. And I'm pretty sure it's going to end up being, you know, Batgirl and Robin and Nightwing and Red Hood based upon the 8-minute gameplay trailer, but they might flip-flop. I hope they do. Be nice to see some interaction between the Red Hood and Batgirl. I think that'd be kind of cool to explore that dynamic of their friendship, and then their when they were at odds, and then they came back to being friends again. I keep hearing people saying Damon Wayne is in this game. I'm not sure who they're referring to. I don't think Damon Wayne would be Red Hood. I could be wrong though. People are saying that, you know, he doesn't have the J on his face, but you know, that's true. I mean, from what I've seen, but it doesn't mean he's Damon Wayne. I mean, I could be wrong, but I've always remembered the Red Hood being Jason Todd, and that's who has always been the Red Hood, at least to my knowledge. But these characters are interchangeable, so I guess it really wouldn't surprise me that much if Damian Wayne was him at one point in time. Let's see. What the fuck are you doing? Some dude just randomly waiting for me? Cool. Good night. But, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, even if Bruce Wayne, I don't believe that he actually is dead. but let's just say that he is. I know that Batman's not dead because Dick Grayson, who is Nightwing, and he was a superhero in his own right, has taken up the mantle of being Batman before, and that's kind of what I'm hoping. That if this is an RPG, that they do add on like DLC to further on the story, and that you end up doing having a battle for the cowl kind of story take place. I think that would be kind of cool. And other events like that, like over Halloween, it would be cool to do like a long Halloween storyline where you actually get to play as Batman. But I mean, that's like asking for the moon at this point. But yeah, I mean, I think I pretty much exhausted every Batman game I've played at this point. So I guess all that's left is to talk about the Matt Reeves Batman, and then we'll get the hell out of here. Yeah, so that is, I don't know, I'm going to probably piss off a lot of people. Yeah, so I can't really say that I am 100% happy with Robert Pattinson being Batman. And it doesn't really have anything to do with the Twilight shit. I've never seen those movies. Well, I had... My fiance made me watch the first one. I fell asleep halfway through. But anyway, it's nothing to do with that. I just don't think he's really right for the role. He's a great actor and all, but like physique-wise, he's just not. He doesn't fill out that suit. You know what I mean? It's like weird. He has a long neck, long slender neck, and they try to hide that in. Oh shit, I can't hook on anything. I'm on. Oh fuck, there we go. But he has like a long, slender neck, so they try and hide that by putting like a collar around the bat cape, and he doesn't really have any straps. Like his shoulders are a little bit narrow, and they try and cover that up with the cape. And I mean the suit looks like handmade, which I mean it is. I know he's only he's supposed to still be a kid basically in this version. He's supposed to be like his second or third year as Batman, basically like the movie version of this. But he just I don't know. I think they could have chose someone better. I think they could have had maybe Casey Affleck play. I don't know. I don't know if this is a prequel to the Ben Affleck movies, or if this is supposed to be a one-off like the Joker with Joaquin Phoenix. I just don't know. I'm assuming that it is a one-off, and if that's the case, then I don't know why they're making it, especially with Batman being part of the extended universe. And Joker, yeah, he was in the Suicide Squad, but nobody really liked that Joker, so making Joaquin Phoenix the canon Joker, I think, would be probably a smart idea, but I don't foresee that happening. I definitely don't see this Batman movie reaching the critical acclaim that the Joker movie did earlier or late last year. Earlier this year. I can't remember when the fuck that movie came out. I want to say it was like late last year in 2019. That's what I want to say. I don't see Robert Pattinson's version of the Batman reaching that kind of fame. Not unless he has like a bunch of little fangirls pop up like they did for Twilight, which it's a possibility, but I don't see it happening. They have the Batmobile that's in there, and it doesn't really look like a Batmobile. It looks like Vin Diesel's fucking sex dream. They just modified a Dodge Charger, and we're like, okay, this is the Batmobile. And they have the Bat bike with him. That's kind of cool, I guess. But yeah, overall, I'm not Dick Punch. Overall, I'm just not impressed with Matt Reeves' Batman. I mean, it was kind of cool when, the guys that were dressed in in like clown attire, and they had painted faces, and they're like, you know, talking shit like, "Who are you?" And he starts beating the living shit out of them. I thought that was kind of cool. That was probably the most Batman thing I've seen in the trailer altogether, and I was like, okay, well, maybe there's a little hope for this. And, you know, like I said, maybe I'm just being a pessimist about this. Maybe it could be the best Batman movie ever fucking created. I don't think that's likely, but it's definitely not, you know, it's kind of a sleeper for me. I'm not making a complete judgment until I see some more. I'm pretty sure there's going to be more trailers and shit like that. But yeah, I'm kind of reserving judgment. But my one-off opinion right at the moment is I'm not that impressed. I didn't get a chance to see much more from the fandom event, so if there is some stuff I'm missing out, I apologize on that. But yeah, I was hoping, and maybe it happened, I don't know. They were talking about the Flash panel, and I've seen some stuff with Michael Keaton, his version of Batman pop up, but I don't know what it was pertaining to. Like, I was just on there to capture the trailer for Suicide Squad and the Gotham Knights. And I had my kid yesterday, so I mean, I have my kid every day, but I was watching him because my fiance had a bachelor party, so I missed out on probably quite a few panels and don't have the full story, and there may be, like I said, a lot of things that I'm missing. So I do apologize for that, but odds are, if you know that I missed them, you know more than I do about this fandom thing. So yeah, so if I missed anything, like I said, I apologize. But yeah, I do this for fun. I am not getting paid. I'm not monetized. Anything like that for YouTube. I just, like I said, I do this for entertainment purposes. And I am not always right. I give a lot of opinion. I give a lot of, like, you know, like, this is my first reaction, or my initial reaction to content. And I mean, a lot of people will sometimes agree with me, but, you know, there are times where I make mistakes. Like, I'm part of this N64 group on Facebook, and I made a mistake because I was up for almost 24 hours, and I was dealing with a sick kid, and I'm sick myself, and I'm loaded up on cold medicine, and I made a mistake of saying this Aero Fighters Assault for N64. I said something about it being released late in the N64's life cycle. It was actually early in the N64's life cycle, and some fucking person, I'm not going to say their name because I don't want to draw attention to anybody, and yeah, I was wrong, but, you know, and I appreciate constructive criticism, but there's a way to do it, and this guy was just like a real asshole, and he was not only just an asshole to me, he was an asshole to a lot of people in the group, and it was just like, it was really uncalled for. I posted the video late because I was in rush mode. Like I said, I was sick, my kid was sick, I was up a while, so I said things like, you know, this is N64's answer to the Ace Combat series, and I stand by that. I mean, it's not really like, you know, I'm not saying that Nintendo saw Ace Combat and was like, oh, we gotta make a game just like that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that what I mean is its answer for it is that they were, you know, it's comparable. It's a game that was, you know, you can say, okay, well, PS1 has Ace Combat, N64 has Aero Fighters. That's what I meant by its answer for it. I'm not saying that the game was made purely for the purpose of competing with Ace Combat. So, I mean, he accused me of spreading misinformation. I'm not going to do that. You know, I'm as honest as I can be with you guys. I always want to be straight up, and I always want to tell you the truth. And I didn't have time to research shit, and like I said, it came out in 97, which is actually a lot closer to the launch of the N64 console than it is the end of its life cycle. So I made a mistake on that, but But yeah, I just want to be honest with you guys, and if you have any kind of opinion on how I can be better and things like that, don't feel weird or bad about giving me advice, because I'm new at this shit. I mean, yeah, I've been doing it since April was when I really started getting into the YouTube thing. But I mean, I'm all ears. I'm all ears about improving and being better. But if you start being an asshole or a dickhead about it, then I immediately become an asshole myself, because I am part of a new YouTuber group on Facebook as well. I'm part of many groups, and there are people on there that have been on YouTube for over a year and only have like 50 subscribers, and I'll end up watching their videos, and if I see potential there, I subscribe to them, and I tell them, hey man, your content was good, it has promise, but if you maybe made this little change, people might like it. And most of the time, because my criticism is positive in nature, I get a positive response. But I mean, there are people out there who believe that they're infallible, and anything and everything that you say, they take as offense. I'm not one of those people. I mean, so long as you are being nice to me, I'll be nice to you. If you're respectful to me, I'll be respectful to you. I'm not looking to fight or argue with people online. There's keyboard warriors out there that just love to fuck up people's day, and I never understood why. I mean, maybe it gets them some kind of fucking gets them off somehow or something. I don't know. It's just fucking weird that people are such assholes online, and part of it is because they're protected by their screen. If people said half the shit that they said on the internet face to face with people, they get punched in that fucking face. So, I mean, like I said, I love people giving me constructive, respectful criticism. If you have something that you want to say to me that will improve the way I do these videos, please, I am all ears. I will never be rude or mean to you by you trying to help me, And I always am going to continue to try and help my other fellow YouTubers that are actually probably more experienced than I am with this stuff, and they're further along, as in they've been doing this longer, but they just don't know how to draw in subscribers. So I'm going to still try and help them out, and anything that you guys pass on to me will ultimately be passed on to someone else, because to me, if I find out a way to be successful, if I find out a way to, I don't know, just be a better father, be a better husband, be a better employee, just a better person altogether, I try and spread that around. I try and tell other people about it, because I just feel that, if you keep information that can help people out to yourself, you're kind of an asshole. I mean, there's such a thing as, like, if it's something that's a secret and like, you need to keep it for a certain purpose, then obviously, yeah. But I mean, basic info, like, if I know something you don't, I'm gonna help you out. If it's gonna help you out, I'm all for it. So I think that's really kind of what a lot of us need nowadays, is people just to stop being so selfish and ugly towards each other. I just don't understand what the need is for that. It doesn't help the person that you're being an asshole to, and it doesn't make you look any better. Maybe it makes you feel better, but if being toxic to people makes you feel better, maybe you need to take a long look at yourself. And I've stayed away from politics on my channel. I can tell you that right now. And this will probably be the only thing I'm ever going to say about this shit. Okay? I'm not for Joe Biden. I'm not for Hillary Clinton. I'm not for Donald Trump. I think all of them are part of the problem. Because right now, on Facebook, it's fucking everywhere. Every other post, if not every post, is about how people love Trump or people hate Trump, and Joe Biden's crazy and he's, kissing kids, and then, Joe Biden's going to be the savior of the United States. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. None of it fucking matters. It doesn't change your life one way or the other. And honestly, the shit's just annoying. Everybody has become like a fucking political expert over the last 4 years. Even people that have no fucking idea what they're talking about. They just gotta spread their fucking hatred and toxicity online about this politics shit. Listen, just live your fucking life. If you are an anchor at CNN or a news outlet, by all means, discuss politics at your leisure. However, if you just want to get on there and be toxic and start arguments about people that you're never going to fucking meet, it's like arguing over who has the best imaginary friend. It's fucking stupid. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of energy. And that shit could be better applied somewhere else. All you're doing is being toxic. Pick up a new hobby. If you, for instance, love talking shit online, maybe you like pissing people off, but if you could be a little bit more positive about it, become a reviewer. Yeah, you can make a fucking killing by just watching even old school movies and reviewing them. Because there's a lot of kids right now, and by kids I mean mid-20s, especially with this 80s craze, they are wanting to rewatch these old movies, but some of them, it's a lot to sift through. I mean, like, you get recommendations from your parents, but since when has, like, a teenager or someone in their 20s ever taken any advice from their fucking parents? But I mean, it's just, you could take that energy, is my point. That energy that you're always posting about something political, and all you're gonna do is just get in arguments online. Take that fucking energy and apply it to something more constructive for your life. Apply it to a hobby. A lot of people have a phone in their hand right now. It's in your pocket. Maybe even you're listening or watching this podcast on your phone. If you live near something relatively beautiful, you could take a picture of it. You go home, you edit that picture. You can go on like Shutterstock or whatever the fuck it's called. And if it's professional looking, you can put long exposure on it, or you adjust the contrast a little bit. You render it out to be a higher resolution, and you make it look real good. You could sell that image as a stock image, and you could make money on it. And averages on those photos are between anywhere from like $20 to a couple $100, and that's a hobby that puts a little bit of money in your pocket. It's a little bit of constructive hobby. It's something else you can do other than getting on people about politics. And the funny thing is that most of you fucking people don't even know what you're talking about. You're just spreading shit that you see on Facebook. So, yeah, a lot of this was about Batman and video games and movies. But at the end here, my best thing I can tell people is stop trying to hate so much. Nobody likes a hater. Nobody likes someone who talks just about politics. And maybe you could just take some of that and just take some of that energy and apply it to something fun. Apply it to something a little bit more constructive, and maybe even make some money out of it. But that's where I'm going to end this here today. If you guys like content like this, and like I said, this is kind of weird. This is a hybrid between Let's Play and a podcast. But they're not all going to be like this. Some of them, I just do pictures and things like that. But if you like, Let's Plays, you like content like this, you like the podcast, talking about games and nerd shit like that. I know it says Busby Gaming, but I kind of get into, different shit here and there. I do music, I do movies. I mean, I haven't really talked much about that. But, nerd culture, I guess, is what this channel is all about. So if you're into stuff like that, please feel free to hit that subscribe button. You click that notification bell to get notified anytime I do uploads, which is going to be every weekend. I know I have not been very well about, or very good about telling people that, but anybody who's already a current subscriber knows that I upload every weekend, even if it's just a simple Let's Play or retrospective and one of these podcasts. This is kind of a new thing I'm doing with these podcasts. Just seeing how it goes. I'm kind of getting mixed results with it, but I'm going to continue on. I can tell you that there'll be at least 10 of these podcasts if we start picking up steam. There'll probably be some more. But yeah, that's all I have for you today. Take care, stay safe, and we will see you in the next one. See you.